But for most people in the West, this kind of understanding and this kind of revelation to simply transcend your sense of brokenness or unworthiness is not enough to dislodge it out of the Western psyche, because it runs so deep in the Western psyche. And so what's called for is something more than transcendence, as powerful and necessary as transcendence is. It's not the answer to everything that causes us sorrow. So I want to come back to this idea of redemptive love. In our modern day Western culture, we have very few names for the experience of love. We say, I'm falling in love. Or if you go out on a date and you're swept off your feet, then you say, I think I'm in love with her. We attribute the same word love to romance, to hormones getting charged up, to long, long love affairs of the heart, to marriages, to people loving their children, loving their dogs and pets, and people loving their friends. But we use the same word when all that I've just described are actually very unique and distinct experiences of love. In Sanskrit, there's nearly 100 names, 100 different names, 100 different words to describe love. And many cultures, most cultures, have many more names for love than we do. And so we think of love in this sort of very simplistic way, where obviously the way you love your lover is in some way a little different than you love a good friend. Or when you are first in a relationship and you feel like you're falling in love, that's a different quality of love than when you've been with somebody or married for 20 or 30 or 40 years. That's a different kind of love. The love of God is a unique kind of love. I could go on, but I'm just pointing this out to say that redemptive love is also its own unique quality. Redemptive love isn't necessarily something like falling in love between two people. It's not the same as devotion to God. It's very unique and specific quality of love. And it's a love that also is synonymous with grace. By saying that redemptive love is synonymous with grace, I mean that experientially it feels as though it comes as a gift that's bestowed, and a gift that is received without reason, without merit, without earning it. And this kind of love can engender in you a deep experience of healing this deep feeling of unworthiness. It reminds you of your original condition. Because, of course, unworthiness is an emotional experience, but it's founded upon a mental conclusion. It's founded upon an idea of unworthiness, a belief in unworthiness. It's, in some ways, it requires that we worship at the altar of unworthiness so that we feel unworthy. So, when I say that redemptive love is given as a grace, I don't mean that it's necessarily given to us by an outside entity, although it may feel sometimes, like in my story, that it's poured into you from somewhere that you don't really know. I've come to see that redemptive love is something that is actually part and parcel of our own being. It's a deep, fundamental aspect of our own true nature. The challenge is to unlock it, to make ourselves truly available to it. And the beginning of making ourselves available to redemptive love is, number one, knowing that it's there, knowing that there is a quality of love that reminds you of your own wholeness, that reminds you that everything can be forgiven all at once if you just open to this very unique grace of redemptive love.